You don't need to hotkey your scouting SCV. And of course, we all know that was an obligatory scouting SCV. Because you didn't actually scout. You sent the SCV out to go through the ritual of scouting. Okay? You did. It's like when you're at a restaurant with your girlfriend or boyfriend or waifu. And they're like... And you wipe your hands on your jeans after they got a little dirty. Assuming you're wearing jeans. And then they're like... but then you wipe your hands on the napkins after you wiped your hands on your jeans, remembering, oh, I should be a civilized person and not a fucking barbarian who doesn't use hotkeys. But we all know you already wiped your hands on your fucking jeans. I just assume people do that. I would never know. Stop with the camera! What the fuck? You still don't have a command center hotkey, but you got more camera locations than Michael Bay's movies. I don't... Ah! Ah! Stop it! If you don't stop in the next, like, 10 seconds, I'm just skipping through. Now what? Now we build another barracks because you forgot what you were supposed to do? Wait. Yeah. You forgot that when that barracks finishes, you might want the minerals for an orbital command? Or you might want the minerals for a factory, which is the entire point of going for a gas before barracks in the first place? The second depot was way too early? At least you're building production facilities. Here's a fun fact. If you wanna have a massive inflated EPing to show off to your friends by having high APM, that camera locations do not count for APM, because no matter if you flip your camera off and on more than someone on premium Snapchat, you're not actually selecting anything different, so your APM does not go up. Nothing changes, no matter where you put your camera, until you actually do something with it. Barracks, orbital. Barracks, orbital. Anything else is wrong. Especially at this level. Thank you, Eric, for 11 months. Welcome back. The Blessed Titan as well. No. Not flip between your hotkeys back and forth like spot the 10 differences between me and Cyril picture. And yes, Cyril playing Terran as well. I like this. This is one of my favorite parts. After you jerk off your control groups, there's a pause. There's a moment. There's a moment where you're like, I have minerals. I need to spend my minerals. I'll get a depot, so that way I'm not supply blocked in 4 fucking minutes, which shouldn't be an issue because I'm spending all my minerals on depots instead of units. And then 2, I'm gonna get a tech lab. Why? Incredible question. And then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna set camera locations for my first 4 bases, which is very optimistic because the last time I took a 3rd base was after my first 2 were destroyed and I put it in the corner. So... are gonna get combat shields. This might be a record. There's a possibility you're getting combat shields for 0 Marines. Usually it's at least a handful, but there is still potential here for you to have 0 fucking Marines. And this is the moment, though, where you look at your command center, your naked command center, laid bare, useless, only good for producing and loading SCVs. And you think, what should I do? now that I've spent my money on depots and combat shields, there's a moment, I think it flashes into your mind, where you remember the orbital command. And like a strike of lightning, it fizzles out of existence, and you forgot. And now you're building an SCV. You know what time it is now? It's time for another depot, right? Gotta make sure you spend your money. Oh. A factory. What a god. Wait. This is one of my favorite high bronze, low plat strategies. Is zone defense. You've heard of zone control in the arcade. It's pretty fun, actually. Some pro players are actually big fans of that one. It's where you think if you just put a bunker in a location in a different zone, somehow you get extra resources. Unfortunately, you might not realize this isn't zone control. There's no base here. You don't get resources until you have workers' mine permit. That's just a pro tip. Alright, now we're gonna get a reactor. We're still well on the way. Not only are we getting combat shields, but we're getting a bunker. All of which might be like... When those Marines finally walk up, they get the fucking first-class treatment. By the time any Marines are produced, they're gonna pop out with stim pack. They're gonna have combat shields. They're gonna have 2 medevacs. They're gonna have a bunker. They're gonna have a 12-inch dick. And they're gonna have an E-peen the size of the Silver League. Because those Marines are good to go. Now, once they're actually built, I assume. Now, here's the spoilers. He's gonna go mech. Oh, a second tech lab. That way, yeah, there you go. How else are you gonna get stim for your Marines when they eventually get here? By the way, we are at the 20-second mark. I already knew there was no really educational potential that exceeded that of watching a very basic guide, because actually, it's actually a problem. At some level, it is better to have general advice than personalized advice, because personalized advice will make you think you're special, and you are special, but not like that. In this case, you don't want something that's specific to you. You want to try to copy everyone else who's slightly more competent. This is like the kindergartners looking up to the second graders and being like, I hope I'm as cool as them someday. But in the name of entertainment, I will continue. That probe. If only there was a unit you could build for maybe only Marines. I mean... Okay, well, I got right to the chase there. So the bunker is done. Combat Shields is now going to finish without a single Marine built. So this might be a record. There's the stim. Oh, the Marauder! What a block! Now get those rocks. And get that second bunker so that way the Marauder has options, okay? It's like, well, those are the same options, sir. Would you like the business economy or the premium economy? It's like, well, what's the difference? There is no difference. We just call it 2 different sides of the plane, so it looks like you have options. It's okay. That Marauder will have a lot of backup. I was memeing. I was like, all that about the Marines and their entitled bullshit. These Marines are not going to be born on third base and then thinking that they hit a triple. These Marines are going... Well, they're going to think they just got the grand slam without even suiting up for the game at this point. Baseball. And by suiting up for the game in baseball, what I mean is you have your kind of not sweatpants, You got a button shirt. Any sport that encourages or requires you to wear a belt. Let's be honest here. I don't. And I'm not talking wrestling. Now the real question here, before we go battlecruiser, stim, combat shield, no marine, one marauder, no expand, is how old you are, because we gotta work out this whole baseball suit. If you're over the age of 35, we're gonna assume chewing tobacco. If you're under the age of 35, sunflower seeds, and if you're under the age of 15, gum. Well, actually, gum is for all of them. So, oh my god, our first Marine's gonna pop out just in time to pick up their stim. And now it's time to expand. Now that we've got Yamato Cannon started. Okay. There's a chance that players might not understand this, and once again, assuming they have not known anything about StarCraft, units get retroactive upgrades. What that means is that if you get Stim Pack and you already have 12 Marines on the field, then all those 12 Marines will get Stim Pack as well. Same goes for Yamato Cannon. Also technically called Weapon Refit. There's only one weapon. I gotta... But just in case... Yeah, I actually want to see, because the very hard AI over here, with 429 average APM, has managed to put together 80 supply, is going to go ahead and warp in a Zealot in the random location. Nailing it, though. Right now, honestly, if you looked at the two bases, if you looked at the situation... I would think that, like, if you covered up the names, I would think that the Protoss was our silver player, and the Terran was, like, a fucking medium AI. Legit. If you covered up the names. You are playing more like fucking Betastar than the Mr. Robot over here. Gotta get that armory. That's another classic low-level AI move, is just get all the random tech without any real units, and then attack. Okay, I'm convinced you're lying to me and you somehow switched the names. What we need is an attack of half of the units for no reason at a random time. Like, you gotta pop the Marines out of the bunkers, you gotta go across the map, lose them, and then jump the battlecruiser into the main. That'll seal the deal. all 6 combat shield stim Marines, that is, by the way, in concussive shell marauders. I like the scan afterwards. Not a scan before, the scans afterwards. Welcome back to Man versus Machine. In the bottom right is Betastar, 116 supply. And in the top left, we're not entirely sure he isn't a medium AI himself. It is Storm's BG with some incredible battlecruiser micro. Unfortunately, that's the only thing he's really done this game. Ship weapons on the way. There was stim and combat shields researched, but it appears he wanted to transition. Oh, here comes Betastar. 130 supply. Plenty of Archons. A good-looking army, to be honest. Doesn't have any upgrades, but neither does his opponent, not the basic ones. That's a pretty solid army coming up the ramp there. The army supply 83 to 46. Yamato cannons coming out. Gonna hit the big blue balls. The charge lot's having some trouble. Mostly because they do not have charge. The Stalker's going to work. There's a hallucinated Archon joining the other Archons, and they're all getting in the way of each other. But they're crushing through Storm's base, and all the units have fallen. He literally... Oh, he has 3 battlecruisers. It's a base trade. There are 2 warp prisms. A cannon comes up. A warp end's on the other side. Down goes the orbital. Another battlecruiser pops out into fire and fury. It jumps away. And now there are 4 battlecruisers versus pretty much the world. The base is down. The 3rd base having a tough time as well. The Zealots, they're not charge lots. I keep forgetting that. The battlecruisers bruised, but not dead yet. Stalkers being warped in one at a time, possibly the only way that they could die. Cannons going to work. The probes really want to mine from the base, but they might regret their decisions. Meanwhile, the Betastar army is ripping through the base. The battlecruiser's going to work. If he could just recall some of his Stalkers, the Archon's tripping over the Stalkers and everything else. Storm's PG has only these battlecruisers. Yamato's the Nexus. I don't know if that's the most valuable usage, but anyways. Betastar really struggling with the base trade scenario, but there is a possibility that Storm's BG doesn't remember his buildings can fly, and he loses all his buildings. This might be the trigger. He might realize. He could actually lose all his buildings first. Like, there are no buildings lifted. Oh, he's lifting! He's running! He's on the run! Only one of them! There's only one. It's a decoy starport. It somehow gets away. He is being revealed, but I'm not sure if Betastar realizes. Technically, in its well, it doesn't really have vision per se. That's not how it works, but that one starport going to the corner. I mean, we are potentially in a draw. Only one of these players is gonna lose part of their life if we go to a draw. Is there Storm? There's not even Storm! Why are you here, Templar? Betastar trying to re-expand. I don't... The one starport is in the corner? The battlecruisers are all badly bruised. If the army comes back, there's one SCV. That is the only SCV. He has enough money to rebuild a command center. There's only one building left. If he could just... If Betastar could recall, but it keeps using all its energy at Chrono Boost. Where's the recall? With less than a dozen brain cells between these players. Oh, the cannons! Those battlecruisers have less than like a full battlecruiser of HP between them. The starport is in the corner. The Protoss army, the Betastar army, struggling. The Chrono Boost on probe still, which is very confusing. Really need to get that probe count up. The army's coming home. The starport is still in the corner. He wasn't designed for this. Storm's BG, we assume, was not designed for anything. It was a mistake. He was a mistake! It's a little on the nose. There are no SCVs. The starport is the only building. The army's coming back. Oh my god, the Yamatos will actually... Is that enough to kill a cannon? Not quite. The cannons... Oh wait! But wait, there's more! But the army's coming back! Those battlecruisers can jump! But how far? Here comes the army. Oh, the battlecruisers doing their best! More shots! Almost every one of them in the red. The zealots are getting in the way. Everybody's too fat to get involved. The struggle. More Yamato cannons on stalkers, but more stalkers potentially killing battle cruisers. How many stalkers are left? Only 1 stalker and 3 archons against 5 battle cruisers. It's a lot of battle cruisers. And the starport is in the corner. Betastar, what's the play? Really trying to get those bases back up. Unfortunately, that's a mediocre priority. Rebuilding the cybercore in a questionable location. The only gate... Oh, he re-expanded to the main! Oh my god. 1 battlecruiser, 30 kills, 50 kills, 30 kills, 20 kills. Oh my god, the Yamato from downtown. Coming up in. The cybercore not quite done yet. This is happening. He warps in a sentry underneath. Possibly the only place and only thing that would not help. Maybe not the greatest place for a cybercore. Wait, the Archon! That's all the anti-air. If you think there is hope for humanity, make sure to like and subscribe. If you think there is no hope for humanity, I think it's appropriate I ask you to like and subscribe.
Good. Now I have...
Thank you, Recovery 13. And how do I like? By subscribe.